Welcome to the results presentations. For those of you who have attended one of our presentations before, you may notice an update in the presentation style. This is reflective of the work that our new marketing director has put into refreshing the brand and creating an eye-catching and clear theming. I feel that this has helped us take a step further forwards, and our marketing and education materials have all benefited from these updates. I'll just pass on the important notice, leave it there for a moment, and then we'll crack on. For those of you who are new to the company or unable to join the last IMC presentation, my name is James Cooper and I'm the CEO of CNS. I graduated from the University of Cambridge with a Master's in Materials Science and then spent nearly 10 years working for an operations consultancy. During this time, I led projects that delivered a step change in the operational efficiency of manufacturing companies across a wide range of industries. I joined CNS in January 2024 as Operations Director, and I spent the first few months working directly with the team to improve production before joining the board as COO and widening my remit beyond production. In August, I took on the role of Interim CEO and was appointed permanently in March of this year. Being the CEO of CNS is a role that I'm proud to hold, and working with the team here to implement real change has been a privilege. I aim to bring a motivated, pragmatic, and data-driven approach, which I believe will enable us to unlock the full potential of CNS. I'm now going to pass over to AJ to introduce himself.
Hello, welcome. I joined the CNS team in January of this year as the CFO of the Omega business, and I joined the board in July last month when I was appointed by the full board. I have over 30 years experience as CFO in a range of businesses from FTSEs to SMEs, and both in the UK and globally, but also in different industries within retail, healthcare and logistics, as well as e-commerce, education and charities. I also have quite a bit of experience in business turnarounds and growth operations.
In today's presentation, we'll cover off 4 key areas, initially focusing on the year in review and then moving on to the outlook for the coming year. Before we get started on this, I'd like to give a brief introduction to CNS to any new investors joining us today. As part of the update to our brand and to reflect our renewed focus, we have updated our purpose, vision and mission statements to better reflect who we are. Our new purpose is to empower people to take charge of their health by unlocking the power of personalized nutrition. This updated statement now focuses in on the personal nutrition aspect rather than the wider functional medicine sector. Going forwards, this is the space in which we will aim to increase our reach, position and share of the market. Our vision remains to put personalised nutrition at the heart of global healthcare. We feel that this remains a core focus and it guides our education and marketing efforts as we see the role and impact that nutrition plays on the health and well-being of individuals only increasing as further research is published. Our updated mission: to manufacture and develop best-in-class diagnostic products that enable fast, accurate and reliable insights, advancing our position as a leader in personalised nutrition. This reflects our position in the value chain as the manufacturer of high-quality products and a service provider of fast and accurate results. This reflects our strengths in the market, and by maintaining and growing these, we secure our position as a leader in the space of food sensitivity testing. Our portfolio consists of 4 key brands. Our flagship product, Food Print, is a lab-based ELISA test using microarray technology. Patients require just a few drops of blood, which can be taken at home or in the clinic, and using our test, the lab analyzes the IgG antibody response to over 200 foods. Food Detective is our point-of-care test, which can be used by professionals to generate results in just 40 minutes. This is the ability to analyze a response to 59 commonly consumed foods. CNS Lab is our UK lab offering food sensitivity testing on our Foodprint platform to the UK market. Once someone orders a test online, they will receive a sample collection pack through the post, and all they have to do is follow a few simple steps, and they will have the results in a matter of days. Any further follow-up questions are answered by our in-house team of nutritionists who are on hand to offer help and advice. Finally, My Health Tracker is our innovative app, which not only delivers results direct to the patient, but also facilitates symptom tracking to allow patients and practitioners to better manage gut health conditions. This is just a brief insight into Cambridge Nutritional Sciences and the products and services that we offer. For more information, please visit our website cnsplc.com or email the investor email address. Moving on to the performance highlights from the financial year ending 31st of March 2025. Total income was up 12.7% following the successful resolution of the outstanding DHSC case. In early 2025, we reached an agreement to drop hands, which allowed CNS to recognise the £2.5 million production prepayment. We were confident that this would be the outcome, and the resolution of this has increased the time and resource that we can spend on the future of the company. The revenue for FY25 was down due to a couple of incidents in isolated markets. This is not a reflection on the general health of the market, which we observe to be growing. However, the loss of a large customer by a distributor and aggressive destocking by a partner has led to a lower revenue overall. The gross margin for the year has again improved and now stands at 65.3%. This has been due to the continued efforts of the team to increase both the yield and productivity in production, which has helped offset raw material cost increases and deliver an improved margin. Adjusted EBITDA has more than doubled to 0.4 million, and this is a result of the efficiency with which the team are able to operate under a limited budget and marks the completion of our overhead reduction work. A key focus and catalyst for the success of the business and these results are the people that make up CNS. Over the course of 2025, we have made a number of changes aimed at improving and upskilling this vital asset of the business. There have been several changes at the board level, with Carolyn Rand joining as chair in April 2024, bringing in a wealth of experience and a drive and determination to grow the business going forwards. Following Jag's resignation in August 2024, I initially took over as interim CEO and in March was appointed on a full-time basis. I aim to bring a motivated, pragmatic and data-driven approach which I believe will enable us to unlock the full potential of CNS. Then, most recently, in July 2025, AJ Patel joined the board, bringing valuable PLC experience and a strategic mindset. This brings the board back to full strength, ready for the year ahead. Within the leadership team, there are also a lot of new faces, with 4 out of the 7 members joining within FY25. The new skills, expertise and energy that they bring to the business is already having a significant impact as we push forward projects and improvements across a wide range of areas. Within the wider team, both in the UK and India, we've seen changes in the teams as we ensure we have the right resources in the right areas. The business now has a skilled and motivated workforce who deliver great results and value for our customers on a daily basis. This is underpinned by a culture of enabling all individuals to perform at a high level and for the wider teams of business as a whole to deliver results for our clients, our shareholders and themselves. We continue to focus and enable this through new training, development and an improved suite of benefits to reward and retain our team. Another key pillar for our success are the products and processes here at CNS. In early FY25, we completed a rationalization of resources in production, which has led to an increase in productivity. This was enabled by improvements in the efficiency of processes and use of new equipment. Yield remains a core focus, and we saw a significant reduction in scrap costs over FY25. This contributed to the improvements in gross margin, and we believe that we can go further. It is very encouraging to see the results of the team's efforts in these figures and only energizes them going forwards in FY26. We have reviewed our internal systems to ensure that we are both compliant and set up for the year ahead. This process identified a couple of priority areas. In FY25, we completed phase 1 of a transition to our new electronic quality management system, and towards the end of FY25, we appointed and started work with a vendor for a new laboratory information management system. This investment ensures the business is set up to scale in the future. Finally, our audience and our engagement with them has taken a step forward with the creation and appointment of a marketing communications director. This has resulted in an uplift in our presence on social media, improvements to our own processes through secret shopper programs, and a general improvement and refocusing on who we are and how we appear to the market. This is just a brief insight into some of the excellent work that the team here at CNS have completed in FY25, and I will now pass on to AJ to dive more deeply into the financial review of the past year.
Thank you, James. That's really helpful and very full of insight. Right. In terms of financial highlights, the key one really is that total income for the business increased 12.7%. James has already explained that this is brought on largely by the DHSC outcome, where the £2.5 million was able to be recognised within the income number. In addition, other income also helped us to grow that figure to get to 11.1 million. Unfortunately, revenue was down 14.8%, and as James has explained, there are some reasons behind that, which we'll dig into in a little bit more detail. The other key highlights for us are that gross margin improved 3.5% from 61.9 to 65.3. Doesn't sound an awful lot when it's looked this way, but actually significant effort went into producing those improvements, and we'll again dig into that in a little while. Those two, together with a lot of emphasis on cost control, led to adjusted EBITDA, which is before exceptionals, to increase over 100% from just below 0.2 to over 0.4. Marvellous achievement in the current climate, especially in a business that's going through so much change. As I mentioned, the P&L itself has benefited from exceptional income in the year. The net number is 1.8, which includes the 2.5 million from DHSC, less costs of actually satisfying a number of events that took place there. Last year, this line had a cost impact of 0.2. Overall, all of that has led to our cash balance remaining healthy and at 4.9, down slightly from 5.4 last year. Moving on to the profit and loss account. Here you see the classic P&Ls for this year and last year. And as you can see, revenue is down 14.8%. What you can also see are bigger falls in costs than the 14.8% and also a rise in income. This has led to operating losses falling by significantly more than the loss in revenue. In essence, our operating loss in FY24 was £500,000, and in FY25 it was 0.4. We would have expected that to be greater had the sales misses fallen straight through. In addition, in terms of the profit and loss account, we also see the exceptional item in the current year of 1.8, leading to our overall profit before tax of 1.6 million against a loss in 2024 of 0.7. There is no tax impact in the current year, as any taxable profits will be offset by losses brought forward. Moving on to sort of the two key big items of revenue and gross margin. James mentioned that actually one of the key reasons that revenue's fallen in the year is due to the fact that we've lost one of our big clients from a distributor in Canada. The other reason is the overstocking that's happened in a number of our clients, specifically around the Middle East. These are largely one-off events, but equally we will see the full year effect of some of these in the year ahead. So it's just something to be aware of. In addition, we talked about gross margin improving from 61.9 to 65.3. One of the big factors here is scrap costs. James talked about a lot of the efficiencies, but also actually just the fact that we could reduce our scrap costs by 41% helped to improve that margin quite significantly. There are other plans in place, and those we'll keep an eye on and we'll talk about later. Next slide is a waterfall of adjusted EBITDA, showing how if we start from FY24 at 188,000, how we effectively get to the profit we've just announced of 405. In essence, the gross margin, if we'd applied the increase to last year's revenue, that would have improved our profit margin by almost 0.4. In addition, with the cost cutting and the additional income that we've received this year, if that had happened, we would have increased our profitability by another 0.8. At that point, it looks like that we would have had a very, very good year. Unfortunately, the impact of the sales fall has meant that that's affected profitability directly, and that's reduced overall profitability by 0.9, leading to sort of net profit for the year being 0.4. Moving on to the balance sheet and cash. This waterfall shows cash movement from the start of the year at 5.4 to the end of the year at 4.9. The business benefited in cash terms from good EBITDA growth and also working capital movements, and the impacts on cash movements were around exceptional costs and also CapEx in the year. The exceptional costs are one-off in the year, and the CapEx is an investment for the future and largely was around some advanced printers and also some software to help in the manufacturing and the lab side of the business. Next slide, it just shows you a regional analysis of our sales split in FY24 and then in FY25. Some of the big benefits we saw in the year, bearing in mind that overall sales fell 14.8%, was that actually we saw growth in the UK market and in the Indian market, 8% and 25% respectively. Both those helped the share of those markets grow from 24 to 25. The areas where we have had the impacts on our revenue and has shown bigger falls than the 14.8% overall was the Americas, the Africa and the Middle East, Asia and the Far East as well. Moving on to just the trend analysis of the previous 5 years. This is quite useful just to see direction of travel and where we think we can take the business in terms of sort of moving forward as well. The top slide shows revenue and gross margin over that 5-year period, and as you can see, the trend line for both is actually positive and growing. That's actually very encouraging for us, and something we're working hard to make sure we can continue with. The table below shows adjusted EBITDA and our cash balance. Once again, you can see that adjusted EBITDA is on a growing trend, and whilst we had a blip in FY23, the overall trend is positive and growing, and the cash balance is actually remained healthy. Once again, a dip into FY22, but actually has grown since then.
Thanks, AJ. Turning to the outlook for FY26 and beyond, we often get asked the question, how big is the market for your product? Now, this is not an easy question to answer, as our products can offer benefits to a large number of people, but there are no reliable stats on how many people currently purchase one of ours or an equivalent test. What we do know is that once a patient has used a test from us, they often have a very favourable opinion of it, and frequently become a big advocate for us. So we believe that there is a large market out there who just need to hear about us. We can, however, be clear about the growth we see of our product in the markets we operate in. In FY25, the UK and India both returned a 5-year high in revenue, and we feel that these are representative of what a market could be. The UK grew by 8% and India by 25%. And we've seen them both continue to grow in early FY26. We are aiming to replicate this success in other markets around the world and have adopted a multi-channel approach to achieve this. We're working with distributors, labs, online marketeers and practitioners to ensure that we can hit each market in the most appropriate way to drive growth. The sales team have focused on finding opportunities to enable this growth and have been filling the pipeline with a number of them. These are exciting in the size and scale that they represent. However, with the bigger opportunities comes a longer and more complex sales and onboarding process. We anticipate that these opportunities are going to take longer to convert. However, we believe this is the right approach and sets up CNS well for the future.
Moving on to the forecast for FY26. The first forecast is around revenue. We're anticipating revenue to be broadly flat, and that's a prudent assumption on our part. It does take into account, we mentioned earlier, the full year effect from the revenue fall from last year, but also the fact that we are signing new clients on, and we anticipate that will actually help to allow us to achieve a flat revenue growth year on year. We also talked earlier about operational improvements to allow us to grow gross margin, and as you can see from this chart, we do anticipate that we'll be able to grow the gross margin, which in itself will allow us to improve our cash gross profit. The other big important thing in the current year in terms of forecast is that we do anticipate investing more for the future in terms of our capital expenditure. We mentioned the printer earlier, and also further investment for the future to allow the efficiencies and benefits that we've talked about. We do anticipate this will mean that our cash position will fall to around 4 million at the end of FY26.
Thanks, AJ. I want to close today's presentation by thanking both our employees and the board of CNS. The hard work and commitment from them over the last year has led not only to hard-earned revenue, but also a lot of progress has been made in projects which will complete in this year or the next. This investment sets up the business well for the future. I look forward to giving you further updates on these projects going forwards. To ensure you don't miss out any of our future updates, please subscribe on our website. And if you have any question in the future, you can contact us via the investor email.